We learn to fold ourselves like a map. Small moves, practiced. Smile when they smile. Quiet down when voices rise. A pleased look becomes a compass. Love, conditional at first, teaches a simple rule: perform and stay close. We mirror to belong. We rehearse the face that keeps the door open. It feels sensible. It feels like survival. Not failure. Just a logic stitched into childhood. Notice how tidy the bargain seemed then. Notice, too, what it left out, what waits, patient, beneath the hem.
Those missing pieces show up as quiet gaps. A hobby you once loved becomes background noise. Compliments land and float away, leaving no echo. Choices feel like checkboxes. Sometimes a morning arrives and you don't know what would make you glad. It isn't dramatic. It's slow calcification at the bones of preference. Viktor Frankl noticed how meaning thins when life is handed over for approval. What was traded for applause? Where did it go? And how might it speak if given room to return?
We build masks the way we learn costumes. Short lines. Practiced gestures. Rules that fit the room. Approval rewards the choreography. Critique edits the script. The persona is the face we show. It navigates social weather. Alongside it sits a shadow, ordinary, not monstrous, the unlived life of small tastes, honest anger, private jokes, stubborn preferences. Give these parts names. Notice the roles you rehearse. Map the places you soften. Listen. What small, patient voice might you let back in? Sometimes it returns like a tremor. A flare of anger that surprises you. Or a slow numbness that settles in your hands. Creative doors stick. You snipe at friends and then apologize, puzzled. Longing arrives like a phantom limb, a pull toward a life you can't name. These are not failures. They are signal, archive, knock. The buried self finds indirect routes. It steals the margins. It speaks in itch and interruption. Listen. What is it asking for, quietly, tonight?
There is a quiet sorrow in finding what you once set aside. A shoebox of small things, a drawing with milk stains, a song you stopped singing. The loss is not dramatic. It is domestic. It lives in corners. Grief here is not about punishment. It is about recognition. Naming what was traded away. Letting the ache have a shape. Breathe into it. No need for answers yet. You might close your eyes and remember a choice you made to shrink. Or you might notice a silence where curiosity used to be. Let that silence sit with you. Let the feeling move through the body, slow and patient.
Mourning is a practice. A gentle witness. A quiet return. If you could speak to that folded part now, what would you say, and what would you listen for? With that gentle witness still near, make a small map. Set a timer for 10 minutes. Quietly list 3 childhood pleasures you stopped mentioning. Names, not explanations. Then scan recent days. Note 3 moments you felt sharp, flat, or oddly small. Beside each, ask, what part of me was asked to be silent there? Try a body check. Where does interest warm? Where does it cool? Draw a simple heat map on a page: red where you light up, blue where you pull back. Choose one tiny experiment. Speak one preference aloud. Reach for a song, a dish, a phrase you abandoned. No drama. No proof required. Watch what answers. Watch what resists. Keep the questions soft. Keep the space open. And later, when a buried thing nudges, notice how it begins: a whisper, a remembered color, a sudden curiosity. Now begin a quiet conversation. Set 5 minutes. Close your eyes. Picture the younger self from your map. Not to fix them, just to listen. Ask one simple question. What do you need right now? Wait. Breathe. Notice images, gestures, a single word.
Try a gentle role play. Speak as that voice for 30 seconds. Then switch back. Observe the tone. No judgment. Use meaning-oriented questions too. What mattered to you then? What would make this part feel seen? Let answers arrive slowly. Some will be whispers. Some will be silence. Keep the conversation open. See what returns. Take one small truth from that letter. Let it travel into the day.
Begin with tiny tests. A single note of something trivial. A different coffee. A shirt you like but rarely wear. A short sentence that names your need. Keep it quiet. Keep it small. Treat these as rehearsals, not declarations. Practice for the body. Practice for the people around you. Notice the breath. Notice the pause after you speak. Notice what softens, what pulls away. Keep a short journal. One line about what you tried. One line about what you felt. No fixes. No explanations. Over time, these microchoices rewire a map. They show you where courage lives and where caution still sleeps. Now, give those rehearsals a shape. Not a headline. A quiet marker. A ribbon tied at the wrist. A page folded and placed in a drawer. A photograph printed and set on the kitchen shelf. Planting something small, then watering it on purpose. Saying one sentence out loud to a friend, or writing it and closing the envelope. These acts do two things. They make the invisible legible. They invite a witness, sometimes private, sometimes shared. They are not ceremonies of fixing. They are ways to remember what you reclaimed. Choose something modest. Repeat it a few times. Notice how the body registers the repetition. Notice what steadies and what still shies away.
Rituals help you inhabit change slowly. If you named a part of yourself in practice, what small right might answer back?
Those little rights begin to lean into days. They show up in ordinary moments, the way you decline a meeting, the pause before you answer a text, the breakfast you make because it feels true. Nothing dramatic. Just small recalibrations. People notice in quiet ways. Some step closer. Some drift away. That is part of the work. Your projects change shape. So do your expectations. Work keeps you fed. Meaning asks for attention. Both can live together, awkwardly. There will be slipbacks. Old habits return like weather. Be curious about them, not crushed. Integration is less a destination than ongoing stewardship. It asks for attention, ritual, and sometimes grief. It asks you to show up again and again, imperfectly. And elsewhere, waiting in the soft corners of your day, something you buried nudges the surface. What happens if you let it stay a while?
You might plant something, a herb, a cutting, and name it for the taste you reclaimed. You might write a single line to the person you were, fold it, keep it in your pocket for a week. You might rearrange a corner of your home to make space for a practice you abandoned. Or tell one honest person, just once, and let them witness the new shape. These acts do two things. They honor what returned. They give the world a signal that you are different, slowly. Ritual needn't be perfect. It only needs to be true enough to touch you. What small, private right would you try first? After a ritual, the world does not rearrange itself. The coffee is still lukewarm. Meetings still happen. Yet something moves. A preference returns in small gestures. You reach for the book you once loved, you say no first, then explain. People notice, not always kindly. Some relationships thin. Others deepen in ways that feel less performative. Integration is not a climax. It's slow tending. Daily choices are the work. Boundaries rehearse themselves. Curiosity replaces rehearsed answers. You will misstep. You will hollow out and refill. That is normal. Stewardship asks for patience and for small, repeatable acts. Tonight, pick one ordinary moment. See what wants to come forward. You have started the small rehearsals. Now ask for a quiet marker.
Not a spectacle. A modest ceremony. A cup poured with intention. A page torn from habit and rewritten. A list folded into your pocket. A song played at a low volume while you stand in the doorway. A letter sealed and kept, or read aloud, to nobody or to one trusted listener. Rituals do two things. They name what was reclaimed. They give it a place to land. They make memory practical. Keep it private, or let one other person witness. Repeat it when the old scripts press in. Change the form if it grows stale. Let the act be small enough to do again.
Tonight, what simple sign could honor a piece of you and quietly ask it to stay? You practiced a quiet marker. It did not rearrange your life overnight. Instead, small shifts began to take shape. A breakfast chosen because it felt true. A conversation steered away from performance and towards something quieter. Boundaries learn like a muscle, clumsy at first, then steadier. Old habits still surface. You will backslide. You will apologize and try again. Relationships will rearrange themselves, some deepen, some thin out. Work keeps its demands. Responsibility remains. But somewhere between the rituals and the doing, decisions start to land differently. They carry the weight of you, not only of who you think you should be.
Integration is not a summit. It is tending. Daily, ordinary stewardship. A practice of noticing. A willingness to answer when a buried voice knocks. Tomorrow morning, what small choice might prove you are still coming back? Now, mark it. Not with fireworks. With small, deliberate things. A morning gesture. A quiet object set where you will see it. A line in a notebook that names a feeling. A song you let play without apology. A single sentence spoken aloud, to a friend, to the mirror, to the dark. Simple rites that say, this part matters.
Rituals give shape to what was formless. They translate inner recovery into the body's geography. They call witnesses, sometimes only you, sometimes someone you trust. They don't fix everything. They make returning possible. Choose one. Keep it modest. Repeat it until the memory of the burying begins to fade and the buried self learns how to appear without drama.
Tonight, what small ritual would honor the piece that waited? Those small rites don't remake you overnight. They settle into the margins. They show up in ordinary places, the way you answer the phone, the hours you keep, the small refusals that no longer need justification. Relationships shift quietly. Some people step closer. Some step away. Work finds a new rhythm, not because the world changed, but because you tilt toward what feels less borrowed. There is relief. And there is awkwardness. Old scripts still appear, like familiar actors on a different stage. You practice saying no. You practice saying yes with a steadier voice.
Integration is not arrival. It's tending. A daily map of small choices. A life with more notes in the margins. Tonight, what gentle change might your day remember tomorrow? Choose a small ceremony. Not for the world. For the part of you that has been waiting. Light a single candle at the kitchen table. Fold an old note into your wallet. Plant a seed in a pot and name it after a forgotten hobby. Say aloud, once, the truth you softened for someone else. Invite one witness, or keep it wholly private. These acts do two things. They give permission. And they give proof. They mark a boundary between what was performed and what is being reclaimed.
Rituals are quiet anchors. They do not fix everything. They simply allow the buried self to knock, to be seen, to be held even briefly. Tonight, what small rite could witness your return? The candle burns down. The seed upends the corner of your day. Small things reorganize themselves around a quieter center. Mornings arrive with a new hesitation. Old habits still reach for the same grooves. Sometimes a conversation shifts softer or angrier as neighbors and you learn new rhythms. Work feels less like performance and more like a question asked again, slowly. Integration is not tidy. There will be backslides. There will be surprising tenderness. Boundaries wobble. Curiosity steadies them, not willpower. Creativity returns in brief, irregular tides, not a single eruption. This life requires tending. Small repetitions. Gentle corrections. Witnesses to the ordinary changes.
And somewhere, between the daily lapses and the small restorations, a voice you thought lost begins to answer, not loudly, but enough to make you pause and listen. The answering voice is small. It arrives in fragments, a half-remembered melody, the way your hands slow when a page feels right, the quiet refusal that costs nothing and yet feels like a return. You notice it between tasks. In the dim hallway of ordinary evenings. Over tea that you did not order to please anyone. It speaks without grand declarations. It asks for experiments. Tiny ones. A sketch left unfinished. A boundary tested and reset.
This is not a program to complete. It is a conversation to keep. Sometimes you will ignore it. Sometimes it will rattle the windows. Mostly it will ask for room, patient, curious, inconclusive. If you pause long enough to listen, you might find another question waiting, soft, persistent, and not yet answered. The conversation wants translation, not a manifesto. Small, deliberate acts. Order the thing you actually want. Say no with 5 measured words. Close the laptop 5 minutes early. Bring the unfinished sketch into the light. Rehearse a boundary in the mirror. Keep the tone soft. Keep it short. Treat each act like practice, not proof.
Watch what tightens and what eases. Notice how your chest answers. Note the people who shift and the ones who do not. Some choices will feel like discovery. Others will feel like grief.
These are experiments in thin air and ordinary rooms. They gather weight slowly. What might return if you kept choosing one small preference at a time? Small acts gather weight. Sometimes they need a marker. Light a candle for the part you let go. Fold a scrap of handwriting into a box. Wear a color you used to love, just for an hour. Show one unfinished thing to one trusted person. Plant a seed and name it after a habit you want back. Keep it small. Keep it private if that feels safer. Let a single witness hold the moment, a friend, a journal entry, the stairs where you stood. Make a tiny pledge and sign it with your first name. Say a line out loud. Burn a page. Place a memento on your bedside table. These are not proofs. They are acts of remembering. They stitch a new seam. Which quiet rite will you try, later tonight or tomorrow morning? Now begin a conversation. Sit with a pen. Ask one question. Keep it simple. What do you miss, or what do you need from me right now? Speak as if to someone you trust. Write what answers come, even if they are fragmentary. Try a small image exercise. Imagine a room. Invite the buried part in. Offer a cup of tea. Wait. Notice a gesture, a color, a single line of speech. Do not rush to fix it. Curiosity is enough. You can also write a letter, one page, no edits, or read aloud what you used to want. Treat replies as clues, not commands. Repeat when it feels right. Let the dialogue stretch across days. What would it say if you only asked one question tonight? If you sat with that letter, or waited in the imagined room, let this be the next quiet step. Small acts. Gentle mapping. Draw a timeline. Mark moments you loved and moments you stopped. No judgment. Just dates, images, a single word for each place where desire dimmed. Make an energy map. Across a week, note where you felt lit and where you went flat. Tiny ticks. Home, work, a face, a soundtrack. Patterns begin to show. List 3 triggers. What provokes a tightness, or a reflexive apology, or an urge to perform? Keep them short. Observe the body as much as the thought. Repeat this for several days. Let the map be imperfect. Let it surprise you.
Tonight, what small detail on your map wants to be visited next? You've drawn the map. Tonight, pick one small point. Sit with it. Quietly. No agenda. Try a letter. Address that buried part as if writing to a neighbor. Short lines. Don't tidy the feeling. Read it aloud if you can. Or imagine a room. Place a chair. Invite whoever you left there to sit. Notice posture, tone, the way they hold silence. Ask one simple question. What do you need from me? Wait for whatever answers arrive. Words, images, a physical nudge. Keep it brief. 5 minutes. 10, at most. This is conversation, not repair. Let curiosity lead. Leave the page or the room open afterward. See what comes back in the quiet.
Stay with that open chair. Speak to it again, slowly. Name the voice if that helps. Ask one small question. Wait. Listen without fixing. Try a timed dialogue. 5 minutes each. One voice speaks or writes. The other listens, then responds. Swap roles. Let answers come as sentences, gestures, a shift in breath. Offer a tiny ritual. Bring a cup, a song, a line of poetry. Make the offering believable. Keep promises small. Ask meaning-led questions. What matters to you now? Or what would make this day feel honest? Don't expect neatness. Expect fragments. Expect surprises. Come back tomorrow. Repeat. This is conversation, not cure. Let the buried self set the pace. See what arrives. Now take the conversation into the world. Small rehearsals. Not declarations. Quiet tests. A boundary practiced in the grocery line. A meeting left 2 minutes early. Choosing the lunch you secretly want. Saying no once, softly, and noticing the weight that lifts. A song learned again. A page written. A promise kept to yourself. Keep it tiny. Make it repeatable. Treat each act like a muscle being used for the first time. Notice the body's response. Notice the space that opens after a small honesty. These are not fixes. They are experiments in belonging to yourself. Do one today. Then another. See what returns. What asks to be tried next? Now, take those small rehearsals and give them a way to land. Not a spectacle. A quiet ceremony. A single candle. A page folded and placed in a box. A song recorded, never shared. Planting a seed for something you want to watch grow. Wearing a habit for a week, a ring, a color, a small talisman to feel the body respond. Invite one witness. Or none. Say the truth aloud to the mirror. Write a short vow and put it where you will see it. Begin a modest creative project that belongs only to the part returning. These acts do two things: they remember, and they make a promise believable. They are small rites. They ask little. They make space.
What would a tiny right look like for you? Make it simple. A single, deliberate act. Not an announcement. A marker. Light a candle for the part you found again. Fold a page with the name of an old want and tuck it into a drawer. Paint one small panel of color on a wall, only a thumbprint of belonging. Record a voice note saying, "I remember you." Listen to it later. Call one person who knew you then. Or don't. Offer the day's first cup of coffee to that returning self, as if sharing a table. Plant a seed and keep watch. These are not finales. They are invitations. Soft contracts with the body and time. They let memory live in matter. Which quiet thing could you return to, again and again?
Day to day, integration looks ordinary. Not a triumph. A rearrangement. Some people lean in. Some drift away. Neither proves anything. Conversations change shape. So do rhythms of work. Tasks that once felt hollow hold a faint contour of meaning. Small choices begin to matter: which song you keep playing when you let yourself leave a room, which requests you answer and which you let pass. Old habits still surface. You stumble. You apologize. You try again. Repairs are small and frequent. They are the work of neighbors, not miracles.
Stewardship becomes the wordless practice, checking the drawer, tending the thumbprint, saying one honest thing when it matters. Not finality. An ongoing tending. And tomorrow, what quiet thing will you notice first and let stay? You notice it. A small return. A hand that no longer reaches to perform. A laugh that arrives a fraction later. A preference, soft, stubborn, reasserting itself in the margins.
You do nothing dramatic. You do what you can. Make tea. Open the window. Walk slowly to a place that used to feel like yours. Let the list of demands wait a moment. Breathe into the parts that used to be hushed. Grief may surface, then settle. Curiosity follows, gentle, not urgent. You test one tiny boundary. You fail, and you try again. The rhythms are patient. The work is daily and domestic. It maps itself in small, repeated gestures. There is no finish line. Only a gradual coming back. And somewhere, quietly, something will stir. What will it ask for next?
Begin a map. Not on paper, maybe in the margin of a notebook. Set 5 quiet minutes. Ask, when did I first feel joy? What was I doing? Let small images come. Now name what you avoid. 3 things. No defense. Just the words. Trace a heat map of energy. Where does your chest tighten? Where does your voice soften? Give each place a single word.
Treat this as a sketch. Return to it tomorrow. Add a mark. Leave blanks. Some rooms take time to open. Which corner asks to be visited first? You chose a corner. Now move closer. Sit with a steady breath. Ask one question. Softly. No argument. What do you need right now? Wait. Let images answer. Let tone, not facts, lead.
Try writing a letter. Address it to that part. Say the words aloud later. Or imagine a simple room where it can speak. Watch what arrives, a smell, a gesture, a single sentence. Avoid fixes. Offer attention. Keep the conversation small and repeated. Over time, the buried voice shifts from a signal into a companion.
What does it whisper when you finally stop talking? Now begin in small acts. Not revolutions. Experiments. A quiet refusal at the table. A single choice made for no other reason than wanting it. Wear the color you hesitated about. Turn down a plan that feels thin. Keep it brief. Repeat it twice. Notice how the body adjusts. Feel the old script attempting to explain. Breathe through that explanation. Treat each moment as rehearsal. Not theater. Not performance. Just testing the muscles of preference. Over time, these tiny choices gather weight. They teach the buried voice how to move in the world. Then wait. See what asks to be tried next.
When those small experiments begin to feel true, mark them. Not with spectacle, with a quiet gesture. Light a candle for the part that came back. Write a line and fold it into a pocket. Leave an object on the windowsill. Tell one person or keep it private. Make a small promise you can keep. These acts do one thing: they give shape. They turn practice into memory. They invite the buried self to show up with a name. They are not endings. They are openings. What tiny right might hold you now?
Integration does not arrive like a bolt. It settles in small, daily decisions. You notice your voice at the table, longer pauses where you once softened. Projects that fit the mask fall away. Some friendships reconfigure. Others deepen quietly. Work still demands. Meaning shifts, not suddenly, but as if light finds a room you forgot you had. There will be clumsy moments. Old reflexes return. Tenderness and failure sit side by side. This is stewardship more than victory. A life practiced and open to revision. And tomorrow, what small, ordinary thing will you do to keep the person you return to company?
Let the question float. Breathe. Morning light comes uneven. A cup cools on the counter. You notice how your hand hesitates. There is no tidy task here. Small return is awkward. It is ritual and silence. Saying no once. Saying yes once. A sentence you keep. People rearrange. You don't have to announce it. Gentle practice is enough. Let grief and curiosity sit together. Stay with both. Listen to the margin of your day. See what answers arrive, slowly. And tomorrow, if the buried voice knocked, would you open the door?
There are small ceremonies. A folded page, a playlist you won't explain, a plant given a name. Someone lights a candle for no audience. Someone says one true sentence and leaves it on the table. These are not grand vows. They are markers. Private witnesses. A quiet promise sworn to a mirror. A sketch left on a windowsill. They gather the scattered pieces into a place that remembers. You do not fix everything at once. You simply mark that you noticed. What would you place today to say, I am coming back?
There is a small grief. Not a headline. More like thinning light along a familiar wall. You learn to move around it. Tonight, allow it a place at the table. Name what was traded, voice, pastime, a way of loving. Let the feeling arrive without a plan. Stay long enough to hear its rhythm. Say something soft to the part you buried. No grand language. A single honest line. It will change nothing and everything. If you could sit with it now, what would you say? Let the grief sit. Breathe into it. Now, gently turn it into a map. Take a page. Draw 3 quiet columns, memory, trigger, where the body lights up. Ask soft questions. When did I stop choosing this? What felt risky? What still wants to breathe? Notice sensations, tightening, dullness, a small quickening. Mark them without blame.
Keep it tiny. 15 minutes, a scribble, 1 line. Then pick a small test, speak a forgotten name, listen to an old song, wear a color you abandoned. Bring the map back tomorrow. See what wakes. Take the map back inside. Sit with it. Breathe. Invite the buried part near the page. Imagine a voice or an image. Ask 3 soft questions. What do you remember? What do you need now? How would you like to be seen? Write a brief letter. No performance. No persuasion. Read it aloud as if to a neighbor. Try active imagination, walk the scene slowly. Let small details arrive. Or speak in fragments. Keep answers modest. Repeat the conversation across days. There is no timetable. Just presence. Let curiosity offer the first word, and let silence hold the next.
Imagine a dim room with 2 chairs. One holds the part you folded away. Sit. Say 1 sentence. Nothing more. Ask, what kept you safe then? Wait. Ask, quietly, what would make today meaningful? Offer a tiny gift, a mug, a fragment of music, a smudge of light. Try another voice. The voice that forgives. Or write as if to a child. Walk the scene in your mind. Keep returns brief. Repeat across days. No rescue missions. No urgent fixes. Let the buried answer in fragments. Let silence stitch the edges. Then notice what wants to move next.
Leave the chairs. Take a small step into the ordinary world. Choose the sweater that feels honest. Say no once, quietly. Return a message when you can, not when it's expected. Make a tiny ritual, a single candle, a page of morning scribbles, a cup tasted for you alone. Practice the feeling of a boundary as if it were a muscle. Fail sometimes. Notice how your body registers success and mistake. These are experiments, not declarations. They rewire permission slowly. Repeat. Wait between tries. Listen for what stirs next. Some returns ask for a small ceremony. Notice when an old laugh surfaces, or when a hand remembers a shape. Light a candle. Fold a page into an envelope. Tell one person, or let the act be private. Plant a seed, begin a song, dedicate an hour. Make a modest promise in ink. These are not performances. They are witness for your body, not the audience. Repeat them. Let each ritual be a soft boundary and an invitation. Tonight, what will you place on that quiet altar?
After a small ceremony, life doesn't rearrange itself. It rearranges you, slowly. Mornings hold different tastes. Conversations thin where masquerade used to sit. Some doors close gently. Others open wider. Work shifts, or your reason for it does. Boundaries feel clumsy at first, then steadier. You practice saying small things that matter. You forget sometimes. You return. Integration is not a victory parade. It's ongoing stewardship. Gentle maintenance. Occasional grief. Quiet rejoicing. Over years, the shape of your days changes enough to notice. Tomorrow morning, what small act will meet you and ask to be kept? You make a small ceremony. Not for the world. For the peace you reclaimed. A folded note. A song you hum into your palm. A cup you pour and leave untouched for a stranger. These are modest rites. Private witnesses. They give weight to things memory alone cannot hold. They turn reclaimed impulses into habits. Into stories you can tell yourself without shame. Sometimes you invite someone to watch. Sometimes you do it at dawn, alone. No grand reveal. Just a marker laid in the daily map. What tiny ritual might name you, and then quietly keep calling you home?
The small ritual lingers. It does not cure every old pattern. It changes the atmosphere around you. Conversations soften or sharpen. Boundaries that once felt invisible become quieter lines you can practice holding. Work takes on a different tone. Some days nothing seems to shift. Other days, a preference you thought lost quietly guides a choice. Integration is not arrival. It is tending. A steady attention. Failures and messes remain, they teach more than triumphs. You learn to notice what needs watering. To forgive slow progress. To answer when the buried voice clears its throat. What will you hear tomorrow if you listen for that note?
You might choose a small, private ceremony. A candle, a page torn from an old journal, a song you once loved. Not spectacle. A deliberate witness. Tie a ribbon to your wrist. Plant a seed in a pot. Write one sentence and read it aloud. These are not vows to perfection. They are markers, quiet contracts with yourself. They give shape to reclaimed tastes. They make memory tangible. Invite one friend, or none. Let the act be modest and repeatable. Over time the rituals gather weight. They move the buried self from rumor into habit. What small rite would hold your attention long enough to be true?
Rituals settle into days. They do not fix everything. They change the shape of ordinary decisions. You notice preferences reappearing at breakfast. Conversations feel less rehearsed. Boundaries wobble, then find rhythm. Work asks different questions. Some relationships deepen. Others drift quietly, without drama. There is gratitude and old confusion side by side. Integration is not arrival. It is daily tending. Small acts matter: choosing a book, saying no, showing up for a messy apology. Over time, these tiny habits rewire a life. It remains untidy, often surprising. What else might reappear if you kept listening? Occasionally, we ask the world to notice. Not with spectacle, with small rites. A note folded into a drawer. A walk taken at dawn. A messy apology said aloud. A sketch kept in a shoebox.
These acts are not proofs. They are witnesses. They name a regained peace. They make the shift feel real in the body. No drama. Just a quiet crossing. What small act might you choose to mark that crossing?
The right settles. Days realign. Your voice keeps a softer edge. Old habits still rise, automatic, tired. Relationships adjust, sometimes great. Work changes shape, not suddenly, but in small returns. You relearn how to argue, how to rest, how to bend without disappearing. There is no tidy endpoint. Integration is tending. A slow apprenticeship. And somewhere between coffee and dusk, you notice a different question forming. That question arrives without fanfare. It's quieter than headlines. It sits between chores and a cup of coffee. Not asking who you should appear as. Asking what you might feel like, in private. You test it with tiny choices. A word, a refusal, a lost hobby remembered. The question stays, patient and unfinished. Which piece will you call home first?
First, we learned the language of permission. A small child notices which faces smile, which tones soften. We folded parts away. Not as betrayal, as shelter. Over time, the shelter became habit. The self that remained learned the script. It kept you safe. Notice that logic. Ask quietly, what did it learn to keep you alive? Safety asked a quiet tax. Small preferences were folded away. You learned to like what pleased others. Applause arrived. It felt less like joy, more like confirmation. The thing you once reached for, a taste, a stubborn hobby, a private joke, dimmed. The applause never quite fills that small room. What did you bury first? You learn the rules in small transactions. A smile for obedience. Affection tied to a particular shape of you. So you learn to fit. It wasn't failure. It was strategy. Adaptation felt safer than risking displeasure. Over time, the shape became habit. You practiced being the version that was rewarded. Somewhere in that practice, something quieter was left at the edge. What did it feel like?
Slowly, the applause fills a hollow. Preference is quiet, like furniture moved into storage. You learn what pleases others more than what pleases you. There's a steady thinning, tastes fade, projects stall, enthusiasm becomes polite. The hollow isn't dramatic. It is quiet, persistent. Later, the question returns in small ways. A sudden sadness, a lost hobby, a sentence you almost wrote. Where did that part go? The mask is practical. It's a script learned early: words, gestures, safe silences. Praise stitches the seams. Over time it looks like you. Beside it lies the shadow, ordinary, soft, full of abandoned tastes and untried sentences. Not monstrous. Just quiet. Give it a name, if you like. Then notice, what small thing feels foreign on your face?
The buried self rarely barges in. It arrives as a stiffness in the throat, a flare of anger, a blank page that refuses ink. Numbness. A joke that lands wrong. Longing like a phantom limb. Small sabotages. Sleep that shifts. These are not breakdowns. They are signals. Soft, persistent summons from what was tucked away. Not accusations. Not drama. An invitation, if you can receive it. If you listen, what does it want first?
It wants to be seen. To be named. To be mourned. Grief arrives without fanfare. A private recognition of what was traded for safety. Sit with that. Breathe. No need to fix it. Let the small losses be acknowledged. Tears, shame, relief, ordinary. This is not indulgence. It is clearing. What might you notice first, if you gave it a minute? Now, quietly take stock. Ask, when did I stop choosing? Notice moments that feel thin or heavy. Trace a memory, the word, the gesture, the small permission you lost. Map where your energy rises, where you shut down. Make a list only for yourself. No fixes. Just places on a page. See them. No need to hurry. Then wait. Something will stir.
Sit with your list. Ask one quiet question: What did I love before it mattered? Follow the first memory like a thin thread. Notice where your body tightens when you imagine choosing differently. Sketch a map, a few loose lines, not a plan. Name one buried preference, out loud or on paper. Leave it without fixing. Come back later and see which line wants to be followed.
Sit with that line again. Try a small conversation. Write a letter to the part you buried. No answers required. Speak aloud or imagine its voice. Ask one simple question, where are you now? Then wait. Notice tone, image, a tightness, a loosened breath. Sketch what returns without judging. These are invitations, not repairs. The first words rarely finish the story. What would it say if you kept listening? Let curiosity be a compass. Mark where your attention lingers, a room, a joke you never told, a color. Sketch 3 small memories. Notice heat, ease, pull back, sudden quiet. Treat these lines as a map, not a verdict. Close the page. Breathe. Return later. What changes when you look again?
Now begin a gentle conversation. Imagine sitting across from the part you folded away. Ask a simple question, where have you been, and wait. Write a short letter you will not send. Sketch a scene where that voice moves freely. Try active imagination for 5 minutes. No outcomes required. Treat answers as weather, not commands. Return when it feels safe. What would they ask you if given a voice?
After the conversation, return slowly to the world. Choose one small test. A single sentence you keep to yourself. A preference spoken out loud. A tiny no, practice it like a rehearsal. Notice breath before and after. Expect awkwardness. Expect nothing. These are not vows. They are experiments in returning. Over time the muscle remembers. Over time the buried voice learns the distances it can cross. When you are ready, try one small thing today. See what it asks of you.
Now give the rehearsal a quiet ceremony. Not for others. For the part that came back. Light a candle, write one line, wear a small, unexpected thing for an hour. Make a discreet mark on the calendar. Keep it private. Let it be simple. Let it be witness. Notice how the body answers. Then wait. See what asks to be recognized next. Morning comes. Your hands reach first for tea, not habit. Boundaries breathe differently. Old scripts soften. Work still demands. Relationships reweave, sometimes awkwardly. You learn to tend disagreement without erasing yourself. Small acts accumulate: a decided no, a brief confession, a dish left imperfect. Integration is ordinary. It is maintenance and quiet surprise. There will be stumbles and small recoveries. Notice what returns next.
You let the day settle. Some pieces rest. Others stir, quietly. There is room now for small questions. What wants touch? What needs distance? No grand program. Just patient attention, and room to change slowly. Walk back into your life with that softness. See what wakes next. Begin small. Sit with a notepad. Trace memories, mornings, teachers, songs, jobs, the moments that felt like you. Ask 3 quiet questions. When did I begin to perform? What did I set aside? What still calls me? Walk your day and notice friction points, where energy brightens, where it drains. Mark avoidance as a road on the map. Don't fix anything. Leave spaces blank. Come back tomorrow. See what stirs.
Now, invite the parts you map to speak. Sit with a pen. Write a single, honest line to the buried self, no edits. Speak as if to a friend. Imagine a small scene where that self is younger. Ask one simple question: what would you need right now? Listen without fixing. You can leave the answer unfinished. Repeat over days. These are not rescues. They are invitations to keep talking. See what returns, slowly. Now, widen the conversation. Sit across from yourself. Speak or write. Try active imagination. Picture that younger you in a kitchen, a park, a waiting room. Ask one simple question: what do you need? Or, what gives you meaning? Wait. No pressure to fix it. Offer small responses. Walk away. Return. Repeat like a long, quiet appointment. Notice what comes. Notice what stays silent. See which silence asks for company.
Practice small. A single no, said without apology. Choosing what you secretly liked. A short walk the other way. Rehearse a boundary in the mirror. Treat it like an experiment. Failures are data. Return. Breathe. These tiny acts shift the body before the story catches up. Wait between movements. Notice what softens. Watch what tightens. See what wants to come back. Not everything needs drama. Mark the change with a quiet rite. Light a candle. Lay a stone on a path. Write one line and seal it. Create a small project that only you tend. Invite one witness, or none. Keep it simple. The point is recognition, to give the reclaimed part a moment of arrival. What would your ordinary ritual look like?
Those small rites stay with you. They become landmarks in ordinary days. You find yourself choosing differently, a quiet no, a yes that tastes like yours. Relationships rearrange slowly. Work shifts in subtle degrees. The world isn't suddenly tidy. Messiness remains. Integration is tending more than fixing. It requires patience, curiosity, and honest repair. And so life keeps offering small invitations. What will you say to the next one?
You don't have to decide now. Let the small changes settle. Sit with the ordinary. Notice how the quiet feels on your skin. Grief and curiosity can live in the same slow breath. Practice will outlast urgency. Tend your days with enough gentleness to make mistakes. There is no finished self, only ongoing return. In time, a stranger in you becomes a companion. Go toward that meeting quietly. Who will greet you there? Start small. Take a page. Draw 3 columns: moments that gave energy, moments you avoided, moments that cost you something. Fill them without judgment. Ask, when did I laugh for myself? When did I close down? Notice where the body tightens. Track the places you quietly light up. Spend 5 minutes visiting a memory like a room. What objects belong to the buried person? These are not commands. They are maps. Keep them close. See where a line wants to be crossed next. Find a quiet chair. Place a pen or a voice recorder. Speak as if to a younger self. Ask one question: what do you want right now? Pause. Listen for tone, an image, a small stubborn longing. Let answers be small. Not a manifesto. A name, a taste, a movement. Write it down or leave a voice note. Return tomorrow. These are conversations, not confrontations. They unfold slowly. What happens if you keep asking, softly, and simply wait? Sit again with your notes. Read them softly. Now speak, but differently. Address the buried part by name. Ask, what do you need from me today? Pause. Offer small answers, a walk, a song, a clear no, try a letter. No audience. No edits. Write, I remember you, and listen. Imagine a room where both of you sit. Keep the tone curious, not corrective. These are invitations. Return later. See who comes.
Now let the meetings migrate outward. Try one small thing. Say no once, in a low voice. Choose a meal you secretly liked. Walk a different street. Keep it modest. Notice how the body registers. If it trembles, slow down. Treat each choice as practice, not proof. Over time, these tiny acts become weather. See what returns.
Choose a quiet way to mark the turning. Light a candle. Send a letter. Plant a corner of your day. Tell one person, or keep it private. Let the act be small and witness chosen. These gestures don't prove anything. They simply attend. Notice what lingers. And what wants a name next. After small rites, life resumes. Days look different in quiet ways. Your yes and no's carry a new weight. Conversations shift. Some ties loosen, others deepen without drama. Work rearranges itself, slowly. You notice pleasures you thought forgotten. Not everything aligns at once. There will be awkward mornings, old habits, small steady repairs. Integration is maintenance, not arrival. It asks patience. It asks listening. What might a week feel like if you kept tending? A week of tending changes the weather inside. Mornings come with more attention. You linger over a cup. You say no, then feel the space it makes. Old reflexes rise and fall. There is grief. There is small, stubborn joy. Repairs are quiet, uneven, patient. You keep listening. What might wake next if you keep the light?
Sometimes the turning asks for a simple witness. A cup left on the table where the old self used to rush. A note folded into a drawer. A quiet promise spoken aloud into a night that will not answer. Light a match for a preference. Paint a corner of your day. These are rites without audience. Small, stubborn ceremonies that say, I saw you. I am willing to meet you. And then, what will show up next? Days look different now. Not odysseys, but quieter adjustments. You notice how small choices, an honest no, a sudden laugh, rearrange rooms you thought fixed. Some relationships loosen. Others deepen. Work asks new questions. Old patterns return sometimes, like weather. Stewardship replaces perfection. Practice becomes a series of small returns. There is no final arrival. Only the next careful step. Now the day widens into quieter margins. You learn to leave space between impulse and response. Small silences matter. They let a buried voice breathe. Grief, curiosity, patience, no tidy order. Rituals are humble, a cup of tea, a handwritten line, a low breath before speaking. Over time, these tiny acts become witnesses. Listen. Something you thought lost is only learning to come back. Those small witnesses ask for a larger nod. A quiet write. A letter read aloud to an empty room. Planting a seed for a version of yourself. Wearing a forgotten song on your sleeve. Invitation, not declaration. Keep it small. Keep it private if it needs to be. Then watch how the world learns your new contours. What will you name first?
Integration is not a summit. It's a daily geography. Some mornings you wake clearer. Other days the old script returns like a familiar echo. People notice small things, a softer no, a different laugh. Work shifts, sometimes by inches. You fumble. You repair, patiently. You learn to steward what returns instead of forcing it away. You'll carry mess. You'll tend it. And tomorrow morning, what will you bring to that small, honest table? Close the door to results for a moment. Sit with your cup. Morning light drifts across the table. No agenda. Just noticing what returns, a shiver, a joke, a half-remembered song. Tend the thread gently. You do not have to fix it. You only have to stay curious. When you are ready, move. Or wait. There will be more to meet. Open a small map. Not of places, but of moments that quicken or quiet you. Trace an early memory. Mark where energy rises, shame, warmth, indifference. Notice what you avoid naming. Ask, softly, what did I leave here to be safe? No answer yet. Just collect the pins. See what the pattern wants to say. Sit with one pin. Imagine the part that lives there. Not a problem, a presence. Speak softly. Ask a question you can bear. What do you need? What did I promise you? Listen for tone, not facts. Try a short letter, I remember you. Keep it private. Invite a simple image, a room, a smell, a door opening. No pressure to fix. Let this be the start of a slow conversation. What might it say back? Let that quiet conversation take small steps. A single no, a forgotten hobby returned for 10 minutes. A boundary rehearsed in the mirror. These are not revolutions. They are experiments. They teach the body what you mean. Move slowly. Notice where your breath tightens. Stay with the result. Keep it small, curious, repeatable. See what returns. A small ceremony can hold what practice cannot. A worn sewn. A cup of tea at dusk. Fold a name into paper and keep it. Tell one person or no one. Make a mark you can touch. Not a spectacle. A quiet witness. These acts gather pieces back. And sometimes that is where a life quietly begins. Life after retrieval is not a crescendo. Days are ordinary. Relationships rearrange quietly. Work finds new charge, then loses it again. Old habits reappear. Tenderness requires practice. You learn to steward small loyalties to truth, to limit, to play. Mistakes don't undo the work. Integration is an ongoing tending, modest, repetitive. Sometimes it's barely noticeable. Sometimes it asks everything. Listen. Notice what wants company. Allow the days to be small. Small practices matter. Make a cup of tea. Say yes to one private preference. Let the buried voice sit at the table, without demand. Some mornings it whispers. Some evenings it is quiet. Grief and delight can share a room. You do not need to hurry arrival. What happens if you simply invite it in?
Begin small. Ask simple questions. When did you stop laughing this way? What did you love before applause? Sit with a single memory. Trace it gently, where the body tightens, where attention drifts. Make a map with one sentence. Notice patterns, not verdicts. Let the map be ragged. Let discovery be uneven. See what returns.
Name one voice you haven't heard. Sit with it. Ask a gentle question. What do you need? Write a short letter, not to fix, but to listen. Imagine a small room where you meet, no drama, no audience. Let the buried one speak in fragments. Respond with curiosity. Keep the conversation modest. See what comes back.
Now let one small answer leave that room. Test it with a tiny act. A single no at the table. A walk taken without reason. Ordering what you want. Not to prove anything. To feel the line between you and obligation. Practice is small. Repeatable. Safe. Keep it modest. Notice how the buried voice changes its pitch. What returns, slowly, if you do this again?
Make a quiet rite. Small, private, deliberate. Light a candle for a reclaimed voice. Write a letter and read it aloud. Wear the color you once avoided. Invite one person to witness a small change. Not performance. An agreement with yourself. Gentle, repeatable. They stitch memory to action and make the shift legible over time. What would your smallest rite look like tomorrow? In daily life, reclaimed parts show up as small rearrangements. Conversations feel truer. Work asks different things. Some ties loosen. New ones deepen. Mornings hold different weight. You will still falter. And that's part of keeping company with yourself. Integration is not arrival. It's a series of returns. What might you notice tomorrow if you stayed attentive?
Small, private ceremonies. Light a candle. Name a lost habit out loud. Fold a note and keep it in your wallet. Plant something tiny. Say yes to one small joy. Invite a friend to witness a quiet change. These acts are modest. Not heroic. They simply mark a path back. What small sign would you leave for yourself tonight? After these small rites, life doesn't suddenly remake itself. It rearranges, slowly. Conversations and relationships change tone. Work finds a new weight. Old scripts loosen, and sometimes return. Messiness stays. Care becomes practice, not proof. Stewardship replaces urgency. Over time, small choices carry more consequence. What will you tend tomorrow?
Sit with that. Let small changes sink in. No tidy ending is needed. Some days you'll wake lighter. Others, the old scripts will whisper. That is part of tending. Breathe. Allow testing. Keep returning. In time, the buried pieces will find softer rooms. For now, notice one small pulse. See where it asks you to pause.
Now, gently map that pulse. Ask one quiet question: when did it first appear? Scan memory without judgment. Notice where your body tightens. Track small refusals, hidden joys, the rooms you look away from. Keep one simple marker, a word, a smell, a place. Watch the map emerge, slowly. Begin a bedside conversation with that buried part. Write a short letter. Name it. Ask one small question. Listen for tone, not answers. Speak as if to an old friend. No fix required. Let responses arrive in images, in size, in silence. Stay curious. See what comes. Sit with whatever answers. Name its tone. Thank it for being there. Offer a small gesture, a walk, a song, a cup of tea. No urgency. No agenda. Promise only presence. Close the letter. Leave the page open. Return tomorrow. See what feels lighter.
Later, try a tiny experiment. A no, said softly. A choice made without explanation. A small ritual, lighting a candle, wearing the jacket you set aside. See how your body answers. No proof required. This is rehearsal. Come back. Notice what shifts.
Choose a small right. Fold a photograph into a box. Write a quiet promise and tuck it away. Plant something, even a single seed. Light a match and watch the flame settle. No audience. These acts mark you. They are private, slow, real. What will you name tonight? After the rite, daily life gathers you back. Small choices loosen the old habits. Conversations change, not all at once. Some losses remain. Joy resurfaces in odd, patient ways. Integration is not tidy. It asks for tending, small acts, steady attention. What will you tend tomorrow?
Walk slowly back into your day. Notice what returns. Small pleasures. Old fears softened. No rush to become whole. Treat this as a long conversation with yourself. Sit with what lingers. Breathe. Later, when you are ready, open a quiet drawer where the buried pieces wait. Open the drawer. Touch one folded thing. Name a small joy you once kept. Notice where your body tightens. Trace the first place you learned to hide it. No answers needed. A soft map forms from questions, where you feel warmth, where you step back. What might it ask of you? You learn the language of belonging in small exchanges. A laugh held back. A preference folded away. Eyes teach you which notes are safe. Conditional warmth makes quiet a survival skill. This is not fault. It's adaptation. Notice the ledger of compromises. Which rules did you learn to keep?
Belonging teaches in trades. You learn which tone returns warmth. Small concessions compound. A mask grows from practiced gestures. It is a quiet economy. Offer a piece, keep the peace. The self is negotiated into silence. Later, it lingers patient, unsettled, waiting to be remembered.
Each concession dims a small preference. Applause fills the hollow briefly, then cools. Over years, tastes blur. You forget the music you loved. The silence feels familiar. And somewhere beneath routine, a faint wanting persists, unclaimed. What name would it have if you called it back? You learned a way to be. A friendly suit of habits and lines. It kept the room warm. We call it a persona. Behind it sits a quieter shape, the shadow, an unlived preference, a small archive of wishes. Ordinary. Persistent. It waits without accusation. If you listen now, what would it ask? It does not return as a parade. It slips in small ways. Sudden anger. An ache of numbness. The old joy fading. A phantom longing, like a missing limb. Quiet sabotage, avoidance, tiny rebellions. These are signals, not failures. Listen. Which one calls you back?
Sit with the quiet weight. Name what was traded away. No blame. Just acknowledgement. Let the grief arrive like weather, brief, then layered. You might feel loss and relief at once. Breathe. Ask, softly, what would the buried self want to be given back? Begin small. Take a paper. Sketch 2 columns, moments that drain you, moments that wake you. Name a childhood scene you carried. Notice physical heat and quietness, where energy pools, where you step away. Keep labels simple. This is not a plan. It is a map. Look at it. Where does it point? Sit with the map. Ask one question. Write a line to the part you folded away. Listen for tone, not facts. Try a simple dialogue, you speak, it answers in images. No rush. These are conversations, not fixes. They will be slow. What might it whisper back? Begin with a question. Speak slowly to the folded part. Try a letter, or imagine a small room where it waits. Do not demand answers. Notice images and small gestures. Let replies arrive like music. Keep the conversation open. See what that life asks for next.
Now, try one small test in the world. A quiet no, a tiny preference voiced, a margin kept. These are rehearsals for the nervous system. Notice how the world answers, and how you feel. Leave space for failure. Then try again, and notice what shifts. Choose a small rite. Light a candle. Paint a single line. Tell a friend one true thing. Make a promise you can keep. These acts witness what returns. Keep them small. Keep them private. And then, notice what comes next.
After the small rites, days rearrange. Old habits meet the new line you drew. You stumble. You surprise yourself. Boundaries feel awkward at first. Some relationships thin, others deepen without fanfare. Keep making tiny bids. Over months, choices begin to taste familiar. And sometimes, in ordinary moments, the buried voice speaks quietly, as if remembering a way home. Sometimes reclamation needs a small ceremony. A notebook left on the nightstand. A vow whispered into a drawer. A song learned again. These acts mark territory, soft, private, true. They say, I noticed. Over time, they stitch a life. What would yours look like if you honored it in one small, steady way?
Days unfold differently. Small things shift, a quieter no, a braver yes. Relationships rearrange. Work finds new edges. Old habits return, stubborn and familiar. Messiness stays. Maintenance replaces urgency. You practice returning, again and again. And beneath it all, a quiet question lingers. What small act will wake you tomorrow?
You begin to keep watch. Gentle rituals, a cup, a true no, a breath taken for yourself. The buried parts knock softly. You do not rush them. You answer with small, careful choices. Which voice will step forward tomorrow? A small ritual follows practice, not spectacle. A bowl held, a letter read aloud to the room, a name finally spoken. These are not resolutions. They are signals, gentle, visible promises to yourself. Keep them modest. Let them be witness, not performance. Later, when dusk settles, notice which gestures still warm you. What will you invite in next? Choose a small mark. A seed planted, a song saved, a scrawled line on a page. Tell one person, or keep it secret. Close a door with intent. Do it without spectacle. Then wait. Notice what returns to you. Which quiet right will find you next? Lean close. Speak softly inside. Ask one question: what do you want me to know? Wait. Notice a tone, a fragment, a stubborn image. Write it down. No urgency. No fixing. Begin a slow conversation. Return when you can. See what the buried voice brings. Someone watched. You learned the rules by watching their face. A smile became a map. So you folded parts away. Not betrayal. Survival. You dressed in what pleased them, and the room quieted. Later the quiet stayed. Notice that logic. Stay with it. What wants to come back? Approval comes like a warm light. It warms, then cools. Small things vanish: a sketchbook gone to dust, a favorite song you can't hum, appetite for odd curiosities. Applause softens. You keep performing. The emptiness is patient, slow. It asks no questions. It waits. What did you trade for their warmth? You learned a script. A set of practiced faces. Compliments became cues. Roles tightened like seams. Each approved gesture reinforced the shape. Behind the seams, a quieter presence. Not monstrous. Little rituals, old wants, a shadow with ordinary griefs. It does not demand thunder. It keeps asking, gently, who are you beneath the stitches? A tremor. A flare of anger at small things. A blank page that won't fill. Or a hollow ache you can't name. These are not breakdowns. They are returns. Quiet knockings from the life you set aside. Listen. Not to fix yet, just to hear who keeps knocking.
Sit with the loss. Not judgment. Just notice the absence you traded for approval. Let your body answer, a tightness, a sigh, a single remembered taste. Give space. Grief is an opening, not a problem to solve. Stay here a moment. See who, if anyone, wants to come back. Begin with curiosity. Trace small moments, routines, silences, choices you avoid. Notice where energy spikes and where it ebbs. Sketch a map, memories, triggers, rehearsed lines. No verdicts. Just marks on a page. Follow one thread. See what returns. What might be waiting there?
Sit with the map. Ask a question. Let a buried voice answer, however small. Try a letter, no need to send it. Speak as if to a child, to a stubborn friend. These conversations are slow. They loosen things. Stay curious. See what replies. Try a quiet conversation. Ask a single question. Wait. Let images, gestures, or a remembered smell answer. Write as if speaking to a friend. No performance. Treat replies as whether informative, not definitive. Repeat occasionally. Notice what softens. Feel what resists. See where you might begin, slowly. Now move out, slowly. Practice a small preference. Choose the song you love. Say no, once, without performance. Wait for the body's reply. Notice the surprise, the soft ache, the light. Treat these as rehearsals. Not triumphs. Not failures. Just information from a living part. Try one small act tomorrow. See what remembers you. Now find a small right. A cup of tea held to the window. A sketch left unfinished until you return. Say a name aloud. Light a match for the old refusal. These acts mark what you decide to keep. They are modest, intimate, witnessed, perhaps by one trusted person or only by yourself. See what settles. What asks to be named next?
These small ceremonies do something slow. They steady the day. Boundaries relearn their edges. Work and people adjust, not overnight but in soft increments. You will stumble. You will relent. Care becomes a practice, not a goal. Let curiosity linger. Notice the quiet places that now tilt toward you. Days rearrange themselves slowly. Conversations feel truer, obligations thin where they must. Work and tenderness shift, imperfectly. Maintenance becomes ordinary. Small failures, small recoveries. You live among fragments, choosing them again, and listening to what wants to stay.
Slow down. Sit with what remains. No urgent fixes. A small box of what you reclaimed, weathered, familiar. Breathe into it. The work will come in its own time. For now, keep watch. Notice what stirs. Let your reclaimed self live in small gestures. No grand announcements. Practice gentle attention. Breathe. Notice mornings, a favorite song, a softer yes. Stay curious. See what returns, slowly. Mark small returns with quiet rituals. A morning cup held like a vow. A sketch, a promise whispered. Not showy, a witness, private and true. What will you honor next? Those quiet vows gather. Days rearrange without drama. Work tilts. Friendships breathe differently. Old reflexes still clatter. Integration isn't tidy. It's a kindly mess. Notice, gently, what returns and what asks for more time.
Make small marks. Pour a cup in your own name. Leave a photo on the windowsill. Keep a private promise. Not grand. Quiet witnesses. Tiny rites that say, "You're here," slowly returning. Gather those small marks. Offer them a quiet ceremony, a note, a sunrise, a song. No audience. Just one pair of eyes. See what returns. Let it shift the light. Days soften. Small habits return. Relationships shift in honest, awkward ways. You learn to steward rather than fix. Mess remains. Tender routines hold. And then, what little truth asks for room next?
Some mornings, a forgotten appetite returns. Small curiosities reappear, an old song, a stubborn want. You answer with patience. No grand declarations, just quiet experiments. And in that soft testing, the buried self whispers, what might you claim next? Try one small test. A quiet no, a song you once loved. A tiny boundary. Notice the soft recalibration. Not triumphant, only honest. Then wait. See who leans in. See who quietly turns away. Now mark it. A small ritual. Lighting a candle. Signing your name under a promise. Not for spectacle. For witness. For the buried self to know it's remembered. What might you name first? Then, slowly, life rearranges. Small choices ripple through rooms and friendships. Old habits surface. Tend them without urgency. Messiness stays. Integration is quieter than triumph, a steady practice. What survives tomorrow? Sit with that. Let evening gather you. No rush to fix. Small, steady tending will do. Notice the quiet parts returning. When you're ready, lean in and listen. What might they whisper? Name one small thing you remember loving. Trace where your body tightens. Draw a map in the margin of your day. Quiet questions. Gentle noticing. What corners still glow when you breathe?
Softly invite that small remembered thing into conversation. Ask one quiet question. Listen for tone, not answers. Let the buried parts speak like another room across the floorboards. Stay curious and see what returns. Reply softly. Speak as if opening a door, one question, one sentence. Try a brief letter. Name a small boundary. Return later. Watch the room for movement. See what answers arrive. Sit with whatever shifts when the door is open. No explanation. No fix. Let a small memory or ache come forward. Name it aloud or in a whisper. Then breathe. Notice whether it stays. Notice what it asks for next. Now, gently chart the edges. Ask, when did I first hide this? What light warms it? Trace a small memory. Mark one steady ache. No rush. Let the map be rough. See what pulls at its borders. Sit across from it. Ask one question. Listen without fixing. Name a memory, a longing. Offer a small invitation. Not to change everything. Just to come back, slowly.
Wait. Offer one tiny test, a small taste of the life you shelved. A forgotten song. A single no. See what trembles awake.
Listen. Notice what answers when you breathe toward it. Name a small hunger. Ask one question. What do you need? Wait. Don't fix it. Let a quiet reply arrive like a footprint in sand. Stay with the not yet. If a memory rises, welcome it without judgment. Name it softly. Sit with its weight. No action yet. Let the buried part feel seen. Stay curious. Watch what lingers, what brightens, what refuses to leave. Now, offer a gentle question aloud or inwardly. What do you need from me? Wait. Hold space. Let any answer arrive in its own time. No rush. Listen for how the answer arrives, a memory, a warmth, a single word. Breathe. If nothing comes, notice that too. Stay with the quiet. It is part of the return.
You folded a piece into a secret place. It made sense then, safety, a socket for thin love. Quiet and practical. Notice how long it stayed. What would happen if that piece simply
You learn to trade it. Small lessons first, smile to belong, quiet to stay safe. Over time the rule hardened. Adaptation felt like fidelity. It was practical. And somewhere, the buried piece kept keeping watch. Sometimes it taps, quiet urgencies, a forgotten song, a crooked laugh, a stubborn want. You hush it. Or you answer softly, curious about who might still be waiting beneath. Sometimes you meet it with a question. A gentle, who remembers this? You let the memory sit. No fix. No urgency. Just witness. And in that quiet, a small horizon shifts, as if something is making room.
you listen for the shape of that buried part? Not to fix it. Just to invite a single fragment back, a tone, a stubborn preference. Wait. See if it answers. Begin with a quiet question. Speak to that fragment. Don't fix it. Note what returns: words, images, a tone, and linger. See where the reply wants to lead. Listen to the rules you learned. A nod earned a smile. A silence taught you how to hide. It felt like safety. Notice, no blame, only the logic of survival. You folded pieces into pockets. Praise became currency. Later, choices were rehearsed. It felt reasonable. To be seen, you learned a new face. Not betrayal, a small, sensible trade. And sometimes those buried things knock, softly. They return as flickers, sudden anger, a longing that won't name itself, a creative tug. Small misfires in daily life. Listen. Not to fix, just to hear what wants to come back.
Name the loss softly. A small funeral for what you traded away. Let the ache sit without solutions. Breathe. Notice how remembering changes the shape of your hands. What else wants to be remembered? Now, nap quietly. Ask, where does your chest tighten? What small memory still tastes like you? Notice triggers. Sketch one line on paper. Follow the warm edges. See what wakes. Sit with the map. Speak to the line you drew. Ask one simple question, what needed me then? Wait. Listen without fixing. If an answer comes, let it arrive like a stranger at the door.
Open the door. Offer tea to that part. Say its name. Invite one small memory. Sit quietly. Don't fix. Let whatever comes find space.
Listen. Notice where your chest softens or tightens. Ask one small question. What were you waiting for? Wait. Breathe. Let an answer come, or simply sit with the not knowing. If an answer comes, follow it gently. If not, notice how waiting feels: light, heavy, warm, hollow. No rush. The part you buried may be only a voice. Listen near its edges. Stay with the question a while longer. If it speaks, answer softly. No plan. A memory, a stubborn wanting, a small shape of who you were, hold that without fixing it. Notice what asks for attention next.
We learned, quietly, to fold parts away. The child's grin became currency. Certain faces earned warmth, others demanded silence. Adapting felt like survival. Notice the rules you took. Which ones kept you small? Over years, the traded pieces thin a life. Applause fades. Preferences grow faint. Rooms feel quieter. You wake with a small absence. What did you stop wanting? You learned a face. Small scripts, practiced smiles, roles tuned to applause. Each performance sealed a quieter room inside you. Something waits there, not monstrous, just patient, unfamiliar. Who keeps watch? It keeps a soft ledger. Small urgencies accumulate, a flare of anger, a sudden silence, a taste for old songs. They arrive like weather. Not to punish, to remind. If you listen, what might it ask for?
It asks for a small listening, a slow naming, space to grieve what was traded away. Not to fix, just to be seen. What would you name first? Listen. Let the name rest on your tongue. Feel the small ache where something was folded into silence. No judgment. Just witness. A soft, private grief. Stay with it. See what wants to be remembered. Children learn silence early. They notice which faces stay, which leave. A quiet bargain forms, adapt, perform, survive. Notice it, without blame.
We bury pieces because safety often demanded a quieter self. Small agreements, silences that bought acceptance. Not betrayal, but strategy. Later, the strategy hardens into habit, and habit forgets the original cost. Applause thins. Preferences fade. You perform and forget the taste of your own choices. The loss is slow, ordinary. It feels like a missing name. What wants to be remembered? A small voice remembers. A half-formed laugh. A preference kept in shadow. It arrives soft, no demand, only old curiosity, asking to be held a little while.
We learned to measure smiles, to tuck odd things away. Silent bargains in small rooms. Not sin. Strategy. A child keeping score to stay near. And so the buried self grew patient. Love had rules. We learned which faces earned return. We softened, rehearsed, performed. It kept us close. It also left something patient and hungry in the dark. As children, we learned the rules. Small exchanges became tests. Praise followed certain faces. So we traded parts of ourselves. It felt like survival. What else did we bury? We surrendered tastes, private refusals, ways of laughing. Applause patched the gap for a time. Then a quieter absence settled, an unremembered wanting. You notice it in empty praise, in days that feel like folders. What asks to be found?